Yes.
My question is, do you think every person who participates in your program has the ability to be rehabilitated or redeemed?
Well, I really, what I call the work that I do is I call it habilitation rather than rehabilitation. The reason that I do that is you can, if you injure your knee in an accident, you can rehabilitate that knee. You can work on that knee to bring it back to the level that it was before the injury. But many people that are in prison, they're born into a world where violence is the norm, where gang activity is the norm, where criminal activity is the norm, where that's the way as children that they see that the world operates, and that's the way that we believe that the world operates. So what are we going to do? Rehabilitate them back into the way that they were? No, what we want to do is create habilitation. We want to create programs that help them find the humanity that lives in them, to find empathy and compassion. And then we want to be able to give them skills, train them so that they can, when they get out, they can get a job. So we're working on it from the standpoint of the individual. So do I believe that the programs like Shakespeare Behind Bars work? Yeah, the proof really is in the result. Our program in Kentucky has been going for 23 years, and we have a recidivism rate, meaning recidivism is defined as when you get out, you continue your behavior, you go back to your behavior, you get caught, convicted, sent back to prison, so you're recidivant, you come back. So that cycle in the national average is, they say it's tracking, it's about 67%. So 67% of the people who get out of prison within 5 years come back to prison. So if you had a car and your car didn't start 67% of the time, would you say you had a good car? No, of course not. You'd say it was a dismal car, it was a failure, it was a lemon. Our recidivism rate, based on the guys that have been through our program and are now out of prison, is 6%. So you compare it, national rate 67, our rate 6%. In Kentucky, because each state is slightly different, recidivism rate in Kentucky, they say, is 40%. But what they do is, if a person gets out, returning citizen comes home, and they stay out of prison for 2 years, and then they commit a crime and come back to prison, they don't call it recidivism. I call that recidivism, but they call it a new crime. So that's why their 40% isn't accurate. My 6% is. Any of the guys that have come back to prison for committing another crime, I count. It's just easier to tell the truth, and it's 6%. What we also notice is on the yards in Kentucky, in Michigan, where I work, average violent act on a Michigan prison is between 50 and 60 events per month. So when I came to the prison 7 years ago that I work in, they were slightly lower. They were, 25 to 30 events per year. And what we did over a year of working, our first year, is we reduced violent acts on the yard to below double digits. So now when it goes over double digits, everybody asks what's wrong. We have to look and see what the problems are. So whether it's in prison, reducing violent acts, or whether it's out of prison, not coming back to prison, programs like Shakespeare Behind Bars that deal with the human being work.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.